There's my 1, 2, 3, 4 person. God is with us, so that's the 5th.
Hi, my name is Angelica. My speech is on child development, persuading my audience on why it is important that we should read, talk, and communicate with our children at an early age. I'm a young mom. I have 2 kids, Athena, who is 3 years old, and 1 on the way. Being a young mother, you have a lot more expectations to live up to, like raising your children correctly, or is a young mom capable of raising kids on her own? My goal as a young mom is to not be a statistic, me or my children. My goal is to be the best parent I can be, no matter the situations life throws at me. There is no handbook on how to be a good parent. However, what if I told you there is a lot more to raising kids than we think? What if I persuaded you that our children's surroundings, the way we talk to them, and if we're not reading to them at a very young age, will benefit them? In my speech today, I want you, my audience, to ask your parents what they did when you were a child that may have affected who you are today or the choices you have made. Children are great imitators, so give them something great to imitate. Anonymous. A child's environment is deeply critical to their development. A problematic home environment can disrupt the brain stress response system and interfere with healthy development. Healthy developments include behavioral problems, aggression, anxiety, and depression. I have seen it firsthand with my parents who have been divorced since I was 8 years old. My siblings and I have been through a lot in our years of growth together. Being the oldest, I have seen a lot more than my other siblings and remember a lot more. I remember my dad always being a jerk to my mother. I remember the times he would abuse her and was maybe a little too tough on his kids. I won't go into much depth, but I do know this has caused my anger problems and depression. I have issues with men, or at least choosing the right men. Parents don't see that when a child is exposed to abuse in their early years, that eventually their children will be the abuser or the abused. It will just be a never-ending cycle, unfortunately. Another example of environmental health would be poverty. If a child grows up in poverty with the parents always struggling for money to pay bills or even trying to find a job, a child will more than likely be the exact same way their entire life. Justin Wolfers once said, "The negative effects of a bad neighborhood may be much larger for low-income families with less motivated parents. They will drop out of school at a younger age to either break the law or be in and out of jail, or have to get a job to help out the family." If a child grows up in a loving environment, the child is more than likely to be successful. They're more likely to graduate, not end up pregnant at a young age, and will eventually become whoever they want to be in life. Do you know someone, or do you fall into the trap of talking to a baby in the baby voice, the language we think babies talk in? Oddly enough, you can actually talk to children in your normal voice. They will still understand what you are saying and will eventually repeat those words to you at a very young age. Studies have demonstrated although the child is an infant and cannot speak a word, it is important for mothers and fathers to talk in complete sentences. If parents primarily speak baby talk to the baby, language development will be impaired. The language development of children have constantly demonstrated that how parents talk to their youngsters shapes the children's language and ability to communicate. Language in turn shapes thought processes and mental problem solving. A lot of people believe that children should be seen and not heard. Unfortunately, this is what people think. They don't believe having a child is a lot more than just feeding, clothing, and bathing and watching them. They are little humans and need all types of attention. In short, planting these little seeds into the brains of our children before school during their early years will benefit them as they start to enter school. They will be able to understand what their teachers are saying and will not have to take speech classes in their later years. Also, when you talk to your children in a normal voice using complete sentences, you get to understand them clearer when they ask for something, and they are able to express their feelings and communicate to others how they're feeling. One of the best ways to communicate with your child is reading to them. Children love books. You don't have to wait until they are able to talk. Even from early infancy, reading to your child will teach them the different rhythms and sounds of the words. Studies have shown when you routinely read to your child, they will develop great language skills and will become successful in preschool and kindergarten. Linda DiPrizio once said, "From 0 to 3 months, your child will start focusing his or her eyes on simple patterns on the pages. Reading picture books presents your newborn with a variety of shapes, letters, and colors that they will begin to recognize on the months on. Not only does it benefit the child's development, but it also creates a special bonding time between you and your child, which is one of the most important things a child needs. They find comfort and relaxation in a mom and father's voice when being read to. My daughter, for example, I have read a story to her every night since she was born. And I have spoken in full, complete sentences. I've always explained things to her as much as I possibly could when she asked me questions. One of her favorite books was a tell-all book. It was a picture book, but each chapter of a page had different shapes, colors, and letters. She loved every bit of it and found it quite humorous and would repeat it when she, of course, came across something familiar. This has benefited her a lot while attending preschool. Her teachers have told me numerous of times that she has great speaking skills and is excelling greatly in her studies. Children are like sponges. They soak up everything they hear or see. So when a child is read to daily, they are able to soak all that information up and use it in the future for when they start to attend school or are communicating with others. In conclusion, being a parent at any age is tough. Everyone, of course, has a different way of parenting. How they grew up and what they believe in usually plays a big part of their parenting skills. As for me, I am trying to do things differently with my children because I want them to have a fighting chance at life. Everything you teach them is what they will end up to be. Us, parents, are our children's first role models. If we put them in a healthy living environment, talk to them when they are babies, and routinely read to them, the likes of the children become more successful without any issues are 10 to 1. Every child deserves a fighting chance, and just because you only think children need little to minimum attention doesn't mean you are correct. I want to try and persuade you, my audience, that children need a lot more than being bathed, clothed, and fed. If you want the future of the world to be different, it all starts with us as parents doing the best we can to teach our children to make a difference. I want you to give it a try. If you already have a child, start reading to them now. Ask them questions about what you have read to them. When they ask a question about something, anything, give them the correct answer, not a made-up one because it sounds logical to a child. If you are getting ready to have a child, read to them while they are in your belly. Play some baby Mozart or Beethoven. Talk to children like they are humans, because they will be the face of the future. And if you want what's best for your children, consider their development in their early years. Nelson Mandela said, "Our children are our greatest treasure. They are our future. Those who abuse them tear at the fabric of our society and weaken our nation."